All right, here we are about ready to get going on a live stream. I'm actually in Colorado right now, in the middle of a ski trip. But between the slopes, I thought I'd just do a quick video, kind of focus more on QAnon for beginners. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's designed for you to share with friends and family from both the left and right who need to come together to support this country and really need to know what QAnon's all about. So feel free to share this video. Give it a thumbs up to like it so we can get this share more with more people, etc. And subscribe to this channel so we can do more of these. But anyway, so this one is going to be QAnon for beginners, and it's going to be the storm to take down the criminal elites and the deep state, right? So I'm going to do a real quick check to make sure this puppy's going. If somebody there is, hey Mike, you're there. So I have to look way up at my big screen TV because I don't have my second screen with me here in Colorado, right? so we'll get rolling here. But what we have this time is talking about really what I talked a lot about, the storm takedown of the criminal elites in the deep state. But really with a focus on how we know this working with QAnon. So QAnon for beginners is what I'm calling it. So if you've been into the QAnon for a while and you're already searching, this video might not be that helpful for you. But it might be helpful for your friends and family that are, again, beginners in the QAnon phenomenon, right? So here's what we're going to be going over here in the next 20 minutes or so. And we're going to, so Mike, thanks buddy, doing it right. So here we go. So this first three things we're going to go over is the storm is here. I want everybody to understand that. That's what makes this fun. The deep state tried to take out Trump, really tried to take him out, and now the NSA, military intelligence, the military with the executive branch are taking down the criminal deep state and the elites. That's kind of an exciting thing I want to go over. Summary of Operation Mockingbird. That's a real important point I got to get in all the videos just to make sure you understand that the CIA and the deep state actually control the mass media and the tech platforms like Facebook and Twitter as well as YouTube here. And then the third thing is elites are against we the people, and this is not left versus right. And this is really the elite criminals wanting to crush the USA. I know that sounds unbelievable to many of you probably listened to this for the first time, but that is truth. And let me tell you a little bit about my background so you'll see where my heart is. My heart really is about the left and right coming together to really fight criminal elements. I'm talking about the criminals, people that are literally trying to take over this country that are doing massively illegal things, which we'll get into a little bit here. But again, I grew up a Democrat. I became a believer in the Lord later, got more conservative views, but I still understand and the liberal point of view of really taking care of the little guy. And that's why I just really believe there's a ton of classic liberals that are out there that don't understand QAnon, that really would enjoy this and understand that we are fighting the elites and we need to come together as conservatives and liberals to fight these elites. So help me do that, because the MSM that's controlling this is trying to separate us and do the exact opposite. So let's not separate, let's unite. And that's what we're going to talk about, but we're going to get into how QAnon can be used. And I'll tell you what QAnon is here in just a second. That'll help you out understand why it's so important, because it's the biggest military intelligence leaking that we're getting information of all time. I really believe that. And I'll go over that right now. So here we go. This is called the QAnon, the phenomenon. This is an amazing thing going on. Again, it's the biggest military intelligence leak that we're getting, and he's basically doing it to these anonymous boards, or to these brilliant, what they call anons. A lot of people in the world are just brilliant with computers, but aren't the most social sometimes. But they're really great researchers and internet researchers, and a lot of them are truthers. They want to display the truth to people. And so that's why they call it the Anon community. They're patriots. And they're there to help us understand the storm. What is that storm? You know, Trump talked about the calm before the storm. So we're going to be talking quite a bit about that. Now, the NSA and military intelligence information is being shared in what they call crumbs into these anonymous boards. And it's just asking a bunch of questions that are leading these anons to find information about these criminals that we need to know about. And again, it's really these questions that are getting the masses to think. About 20 million of us are now awake to understanding these things, right? But there's tons of people, $240 million, a million or more in this country, right? There's a ton of others that need to understand this message, and that's what this is about. So anons have to work hard, and they decode this information. They call it baking bread, right? So they bake bread for us so we can understand it a little bit better versus all these technical guys really doing a great job, guys and gals. But it's really called the Great Awakening because of that. So the Great Awakening is what we're after here, okay? So let's get into this a little bit more. Here's what you would want to do is put this in your browser. It's different than the one in my last video, right? The CIA and others have probably taken down the other sites. They're attacking them all the time. But some of these brilliant anons have triple backed up board so we can see CueAnon's post. And it's right here in these QAnonMaps.github.io. So put that in your browser. I think that'll really help you all. Hey, Dr. E. Bloom, and I've been trying to find that also. Well, good. So if you look at this, the deep state does not want you on this site. Remember that. And because I apologize, I look up all the time because I don't have my second screen. I'm in Colorado skiing for those who just joined me. But anyway, the deep state does not want you on there. They want Trump impeached and dead. And the last thing they want you to do is see that Trump might be doing something good for the country when the mass media has talked to many of you and have taught you, and even some of the platforms have probably convinced many of you that Trump's a bombastic idiot, which is, to be honest, what I thought initially when he got the nomination. But now I've found much otherwise after I did a lot of study to realize that he's the threat to the deep state. He's literally draining the swamp like he talked about it. And it's crazy to see how criminal some of these people are. And that's being exposed now. You're seeing the FBI, you're seeing it in the DOJ, you're seeing it in the State Department. And you're going to see voter fraud coming out. You're going to see a lot of things that are just amazingly evil that go way beyond what I just said. That has to do with human trafficking and drug running that our government's involved in, the deep state criminal elements of our government, right? So we know that QAnon, based on the way the information he's giving us, is most likely military intelligence working with the NSA, and also with Trump. So that's who Q is. Again, he's got the Q clearance, a top security clearance, and this is how you find it in that website. Put that in your browser. That's what I'm going to teach you. This is QAnon for beginners, so you can actually find this stuff, right? So here we go. The correct predictions. Why do we know QAnon's reliable? Here's some samples. He had a bunch of predictions. Saudi Arabia princes were arrested 3 or 4 days before that. He was telling us all about Saudi Arabia, right, and how those type of things were going to be happen as that side of that triangle will be collapsed, which I'll talk about in a second. Q posts before Trump tweets. So we'll see Q post things in 6 or 7 minutes, or maybe in 2 minutes, depending on what message you're trying to get across. You'll have a tweet from Trump saying the exact same phrase. So we know they're working very closely with the executive branch. And then pictures from Air Force One, basically this QAnon, this group of people literally travel with the president as an example. So here's the post that if you go look, we'll show you on this site, and there's post number, they're numbered, number 59, 67, and 70 through 78, all talked about Saudi Arabia. And number 4, sure enough, all the arrests happened. So you can go research this for yourself. Just showing that the Saudi Arabians princes were arrested in masses, right? So now, who are these elites? That's the next thing, right? Well, search these terms. So I'm going to go over to this site. Now let's let you know, probably the worst site you can search on and do any of this is Google Chrome, right? Google is completely compromised, which we'll get in later in this video. And it's one of the worst ones on response in this site or anything. So I personally have a Mac, so I'm going to actually be using the Safari. So if I flip over to Safari real quick, you'll see here's this site, QAnon GitHub right here, right? Now I have a word patriots in there, so I'm going to go back to this normal site, that .io. So again, QAnonMap.github, GITHUB.io. QANON map, map.github.io. All right, and this will give you, see, 868 posts that he's made since October 28th, letting us know what's going on, telling us what to research, asking us questions, making us think for ourselves, which is exactly what we need to do. So as I was just saying back here, we're going to search on some things. Search on these pluses, plus, there are 3 pluses. I'm going to just search on 2 to make it easy. So I'm going to go here, plus, right? Plus. Then I'm going to go over to Control F and then hit plus again and hit enter. You'll see that allows me to see all the pluses everywhere. You see there's 24 matches up here. Then I can go backwards to go to the very first one. That will be, you can see I'm post 123. So he says nothing, this is on November 6th, you see here, right? And I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you guys can see this better. See how it says nothing is random, everything has meaning. And he's got plus there. Now this was on November 6th. He's talking about it here. And you'll see that Saudi Arabia, this House of Saud, is the plus as we go through here. But now I can search through here and do all kinds of research and what does he mean by all these pluses. And eventually we'll get to see right here that he's talking about the House of Saud with 3 pluses, 4 trillion in wealth, Rothschild with 2 trillion in wealth is a plus, and Soros, which used to be the Rockefellers in the United States, And then the Bushes and now Soros is really kind of the leader of this triangle of puppet masters, if you will. So that's when you're looking for who they are, you can search on SA as well. You'll see some Saudi Arabia things. Like if I come up here and I just search on, looks like that's going to get in my way. I'm going to hit done here, so it brings back up my, I got to go to the top to actually get back to my search bar. It's refreshing for me here. Go Command F and I'll just search on, I was doing Rothschild, SSA is what I was going to do. SA as an example. And this is like operations. Think Saudi Arabia. That's the the question there. But now if I come back up to the search bar and I put Saudi space SA space, right? It's going to give me the 24 entries. The 24 entries that of the 876 that have SA in them with a space, right? And then again, over here I can search on SA again. Gives me 54 matches. I hit the back key here. See the back key? That allows me to get to the first entry, which is entry 59. All kinds of information on Saudi Arabia. How did Saudi Arabia welcome POTUS during his trip? So this was again 2 days before everything. It was the sword dance. Remember the sword dance? So this is where he's talking about how that, and that's preparing for war, which happened 2 days later, basically, than from this post. It was well before during the sword dance. But anyway, and then I can continue to move upwards here and see all kinds of posts on Saudi Arabia in different time frames. I'm not going to do it but there's tons of stuff clearly showing that Saudi Arabia is one of the elite puppet masters, right? So the Rothschilds or the Soroses, and you can search on puppet masters and research this for yourself. I'm not going to go through all this. It'll be too long of a video. I want you to go look at this and actually learn how to just put these search terms in. Again, let's just look up puppet masters real quick to show you. You would go to the top. You would go to the very top of this. Make sure you get your search engine back here. Safari's not giving it to me real easy, so I think I have it done right here to make it show up. And I'm going to go Command F, and I'm going to go Puppet Masters. Puppet Masters. And that's my Command F, which will show me the Puppet Masters, right? Who are the Puppet Masters? And they clearly talk to us about that. So you can put Puppet Masters in this search bar here, right, which will clean it out. So space Puppet Masters. And you can see it's 3 total entries had Puppet Masters in it. And then when I put it back here and hit Enter, it'll highlight them for me. There's 6 entries. I hit back. There it is. Who are the Puppet Masters? We just saw that. Here's another one, another post about how the Puppet Masters traveled to this island. Who are the Puppet Masters? And then he gives us the answer in this one, right? We saw that a little bit ago. But that's the whole key to really be able to search this out on your own. You can find out who the Puppet Masters and the elites are according to CueAnon here and the questions he's asking about them. And to give you an example, I've showed this before, but I wanted to review it real quick. This is my review of the summary of what he's telling us. The Rothschilds are worth $2 trillion. They control 98% of the central banks, right? They fund wars on both sides. You got the House of Saud, which was $4 trillion. They do false flags, gun running, drug running, human trafficking, and we just took them out. Those princes got arrested. We took all their wealth away. And that cut the puppet strings to a bunch of the deep state that are working with all 3 of these. And Soros, who's worth $1 trillion, he's an expert at collapsing currencies, dividing people, and having political chaos. He's done that with the CIA at other nations around the world. Now he's turned it on us. Okay, so let's keep going here. Who has teamed to destroy the elites? And this is, again, you can search on terms like NSA, so or military intelligence, MI, military, Trump, generals, patriots, anons. Hey, Trump patriots, good to see you too. And now, if you actually search this, you will actually be able to flip over there and actually search instead of Puppet Masters, turn on any of those terms. I'm just going to type in military right now. Okay, and I can do the same thing, Control F over here and put military. And then it gives me 61 matches, and I can go backwards, go to the first one. You can see how much he talks about the military. All the way to the post number 2, what is military intelligence? So that's where the NSA and military intelligence have more information than anybody. CIA has a ton, but nobody has more against the criminals than military intelligence and the NSA. And they talk a lot about military codes and all kinds of things you can go search for yourself. You can always obviously go down October 28th and read it, but it take you 3 weeks to read it. That's why I like to use terms and go research things, for beginners especially, right? Focus on military intelligence and state secrets and what might be used versus any 3-letter agency. So basically, military intelligence and the NSA and the military and the executive branch can go against the 3-letter agencies of the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, etc., because they have this state secrets issue that's going on right here. So all the corruption is allowed and given Trump tremendous power. Again, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go over all these, but you can search all these about the Patriots and the Anons working together to destroy the elites. Part of this is the Great Awakening, and that's why I'm glad you're listening to this video. This is not right versus left. This is you understanding what QAnon's telling us and really seeing the extent of this criminality that we need to unite together to bring down. Okay, now here's another thing. How are the White Hats going to destroy them? And this is way too deep for me to get into because I want to keep this relatively short. But basically, there's an executive order that was on December 21st. You've probably seen it, most of you who have done any research at all on this. If you haven't, you need to just go out to the whitehouse.gov and look at executive order on December 21st. And it basically declares a national emergency for human rights abuses. So people that were basically involved in human rights abuses. He's got national emergency power. He can do military tribunals. He can use the military against any person or group of people that are doing human trafficking or doing any type of human rights abuses. So we are under national emergencies. Not many people know that. And that's the way the storm is here. It's been going on ever since December 21st. And they've been rolling up a lot of the criminals on the lower sides. Not many people know that we have now over 18,500 sealed indictments. And I'm going to go to the next slide just real quick. That used to be, when I first showed you guys, this was 9,000. I showed you this big thing, and there I'll put in the notes a link to show you the Twitter of a guy named Storm Drainer or something that actually has the latest list to show you this. I mean, just think about that. It was 9,000 when I first started talking to you guys a month and a half ago. Then it went to 13,000 last month. Now it's over 18,500 this has gone to, right? This is my old slide. 18,500 over there, right? And you can go search on sealed. And you can find some information about sealed indictments. You can also go search on resignation or re-election, and you'll see all kinds of insights. I'm just going to go on those. I'm going to go, I did this last time, go resignations. If I get in there, resignations. This is important, guys. There's tons of CEOs, because of that executive order I just talked to you about, resignations. You'll see, and I go back, there's 4 matches. Track CEO resignations. Eric Schmidt from Google literally resigned the day after this executive order. Why? I think it's because he could have frozen all of Google and Alphabet's assets, right? And there's hundreds of resignations of CEOs in the last 6 months, right? Not to mention, and again, we can go backwards right here, use this backwards key, and see the next one, which was done on February 7th, right? But make sure the list of resignations remains updated. And he talks about, look at this, do people believe that all the recent resignations, plane crashes, plane reroutes, EMS and EBS activations, blackouts, etc., are simply a coincidence? And basically saying, no, all this is part of them starting to take down the deep state. So it's happening now behind the scenes. A lot of it's going to be more public as we see over the coming weeks in the news. And he talks a lot about news unlocks, these maps he's building for us, right? DHH, vote, go look at voter fraud, IG, tons of stuff to learn here. Again, I'm not here to teach you the actual results of what QAnon's talking about. Right now, I'm teaching you how to use it, right? So that's why I'm going to go pretty fast here. Let me go to the next point. It's going to be, besides the storm is here, and let's get into number 2 point is the summary of the Operation Mockingbird, that literally the CIA deep state criminals are controlling the mass media and also the tech platforms, Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, right? So in the way you go do this, go look at, go back to that site. Again, QAnon maps.github.io, right? And you go look at these terms. Mockingbird, you'll see that's the Operation Mockingbird. That's what the CIA uses to have double agents in the media. They give them 4 a.m. talking points, and they literally, these 4 a.m. talking points are parroted by all the major mass media, as well as all the publications and the newspapers, as well as a lot of these magazines. And so all you get is the same brainwashed, elite, criminal-controlled messaging. So if you want to just be controlled by the media and controlled by the elites, then just don't listen to anything I'm talking about, right? But heck, if you really want to understand, go to CueAnon and do searches on this. MSM, clowns for CIA, Twitter, Facebook, Google. I'm going to go search this on MSM for a second. So let's go over here. This again is at QAnonMap.io, and I'm going to search on, what did I say I was going to search on? I was going to search on the MSM. So I'm going to go space, get that out of the way, MSM, space. Right now I'm going to go over here to Control F, so it'll highlight them for me, MSM. You can see there's 36 matches. If I go to the back one, it's going to go to the very first one. It talks about MSM all the way back on October 29th. They rely on the MSM to keep the narrative going, right? And if I keep going back, I'll see the next one. There it is there, up there. Here's another one. I'm not going to go through all these, but I'm just telling you how you can quickly go see what the MSM is doing, right? And basically the MSM wants to divide us because Soros funds a lot of this type of stuff. He's part of the narrative creation, and they want to make us divided so that we do not come together against them, right? Why is MSM so hostile toward POTUS? Pretty obvious they want to take him out, right? Who controls the MSM? The elites. We just talked about that. Those three triangles, the puppet masters, right? And those puppet masters are the deep state, are controlled by the deep state. And the CIA had Operation Mockingbird. And they not only control them, they control the tech platforms. So I'm going to flip up here just real quickly to get to show you another. This MSM's talked about all the time. Why? Because they truly are the enemy of the state using elite propaganda trying to destroy America. Not many people will believe that, understand that, are hearing for this the first time. But as you dig into it, you'll see it's true. And you can really see it pretty easily by just, let me look at Twitter, for instance. By just seeing how everybody parrots the exact same narrative, the exact same thing. Like Hurricane Harvey, it was lack of empathy, lack of empathy, lack of empathy. In every network, every newspaper, lack of empathy. It was the talking point at 4 a.m. So everybody was being controlled by the 4 a.m. talking point, which is absolutely silly. So if I'm going to go to Twitter, you can see that it's all over. You'll see about Twitter. And you can just keep going through all these Twitter things. The one I'm going to show you is near the end, because this is talking about his Twitter account more than it is it being under control. But here's an example. Social media platforms. Who are the top 10 shareholders? The top 10 shareholders of Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit. You'll see that it actually was that Alaweed from Saudi Arabia. Amazing, right? And here's these controlling stakes in MSM as well, right? And that would be NBC, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, and even parts of Fox News. The Saudi Arabia government was controlling them as a puppet master. So we have puppets running the media right now that literally just control. They're just actors reading scripts based upon the 4 a.m. talking point. Sad stuff, guys. That's where this country is right now. And that's number two, just talking about Operation Mockingbird. It's real. Let me show you just a couple other things. This is a brand new declassified document that basically said that CIA really showed it. It said, look at this, the whole thing, CIA's use of journalists and clergy. So they not only use the MSM, they use our clergy against us, using the same talking points, right? That's really sad, guys, if you think about it. But that's where the country is. Again, here's the Operation Mockingbird that came out of the JFK files that recently just got released from being top secret, so we as the public can see them. And sure enough, they're talking down here at the bottom about Mockingbird. They're actually talking about the CIA. This is way back in the JFK times. Had some 40 journalists who doubled as undercover contacts. Basically, double agents. They're using double agents now. 50 years later, it's like 10 times worse, right? We think there's hundreds and thousands of these controlled clergy and controlled MSM that are parroting the elite narratives. And when you look at the narratives, they're basically trying to take out who's trying to take them out, and that's Trump. And the last point I'll get into in this video is really the elites are against we the people. It's not left versus right, right? I talk a lot about this because that's my heart, right? Is let's come together to fight the criminals. If we let them divide us, which the media is trying to do by race and color and everything else, then we're going to give them that foothold, and we don't want to give them that foothold. So again, here's some things you can search on. Go there and say, won't say his name. That's what they use for John McCain. And so if I go over here and I actually say his name. And I go Control F as well to do it again and say his name again. Now I have 6 matches up here, as you can see. I go backwards. The first time they say that is back on December 14th. I'm going to go through a few more of these. They're talking about that basically this person was getting 19 million from Singapore and in corruption, basically through the McCain Institute, as you get more details into this. Talking about the purpose of all these, I think this was the private emails. We always hear about Hillary Rodham Clinton having private emails, but actually a lot of people did, including McCain. McCain was working with the elites as well. So you'll see a lot of, you just learn so much as you research this and actually look at the articles. And we even see him here. Here's McCain, picture of McCain right here, working with the ISIS leaders, right? In fact, actually the name of the JPEG is basically ISIS traitor, right? So you'll learn a lot that this is not right versus left, and that's my whole point. Look at these other terms, research them, and Control F, put in both, it'll highlight it. Look at this and you will be able to find all kinds of things to see how they're trying to divide us. The Soros and MSM is trying to divide us all the way. But he says we need to unite, fight as patriots. Become a patriot and fight this. It'll be fun, guys. And now, to show you a little bit more, to get back into the theme. Now, almost every video I do this just to make sure for the new person that's looking at this. It's important for you to know that this is a lot like the Matrix movie, where Neo, this star, was actually given a choice by Morpheus, right? Here's his girlfriend Trudy. But the whole point is that he was plugged into the Matrix. So he had to continue with a blue pill and just be living in his fantasy land in his life that was not real, and he's completely controlled by the Matrix. Or he could have freedom and truth and see what was really happening out in the real world. And that was called the red pill. And that's what Morpheus said. Take the red or blue pill, dude. Which one do you want? You want to be controlled in the fantasy world? Take the blue pill. And you guys can do the same thing. If you want to just continue to hear the elite narratives, the 4 a.m. talking points, talked from everybody's different perspective, but everybody giving you the false narratives, take the blue pill. The red pill is not right or left. This is all of us coming together to go see the truth and unplug. And you can see, here's Neo grabbing the red pill. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Grab the red pill. Let's get out of this matrix and not be controlled. Let's get to freedom. Let's get to truth. And that's what this is all about, is basically getting to the truth. And you've heard me use my Rubik's Cubes. I don't have them up here in Colorado while I'm skiing, but you can have the great melting pot, guys, where you will have right here a mix of race and religion and political views and orientation. It's a powerful economic force that the elites cannot control. And this is what they're trying to destroy. They're trying to destroy the melting pot, get us to fight. They need division because that's going to weaken us greatly. And his expertise, George Soros' expertise, is dividing through Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all these different organizations that actually come and separate us and get us to fight. And they want everybody to fight and division at all cost. And eventually I want to destroy that melting pot. And you can look at the rules for radicals to see the 8 points of taking over your health care, taking over guns, taking over getting you in poverty, getting you in massive debt, having all kinds of class control. This is what Soros is an expert at. So he's trying to do it just like he just took out all the other countries. They're now trying to do it on the USA. And we are feeding right in their hands if we sit there and talk about left versus right issues in major ways versus coming together and understanding the elite and taking them down, right? And so you'll see what I want you to do is just go to that website I talked about. Get that in your browser. Save it as a favorite, right? QAnonmaps.github.io, and then search that QAnon site for all these different types of terms that I've been showing you on this video and other things you want to know about. Use your own mind. This is the red pill actions I'm talking about, right? Don't use Google though, guys. It's completely filtering out conservatives. It's one of the most compromised search engines you can use. Plus, they feed everything you have to the CIA. So use DuckDuckGo or Bing or anything besides Google. YouTube is the only big platform. There are some competitors coming like Vimeo, and Twitter has Gab. So I think Gab will be a great platform in the future. But you can use YouTube right now and Twitter and search on QAnon. Search on these other terms like the Great Awakening or the Storm is Here. And you'll find great patriots trying to let you know the truth. Right? So get involved. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to other YouTubers telling your truth. Share the videos so it gets out there. Like the videos with a thumbs up, right? So that you get people the support that they need. Now here's the last conclusion and we'll wrap it up here, guys. This was QAnon for Beginners, their Great Awakening, to let you know that the storm is here. The deep state tried to take out Trump with impeachment. It didn't work in all kinds of ways to take him out. Now the NSA and the military intelligence, the military and the executive branch are taking down these criminals that are doing that, the deep state and the elites, which we talked about being the triangle of the puppet masters, the deep state that actually obeys them all and controls our politicians. They control CEOs. They control Twitter and Facebook. They control almost everything, including what you hear on the news every single day, even on your iPhone app. If you go look at it, almost all of it's going to be controlled talking points, right? So you have to go search, do work yourself. And that's why the CIA deep state criminals not only control the mass media, they control the tech platforms. There's huge censorship. We know Twitter is shadow banning conservatives and libertarians. And we know they're shadow banning them on Facebook now, so not many people see nearly as much as they think there are. We even have a great evidence, like every time Trump has a tweet, they de-thread every positive comment on Trump, and only the negative stuff comes up to his responses. It's completely censorship and dishonesty of the criminals controlling those platforms. That's why we have the Internet Bill of Rights coming out. Hashtag Internet Bill of Rights it's another one you can search on. And so last thing, hey guys, this is not left versus right. Please, let's stop fighting. Let's really understand what the criminals are doing. And when they come in and try to get us to fight, let's come together, no matter what our race, religion, religious beliefs, or anything, right? So with that, I'm going to say a turbo prayer, right? Heavenly Father, thank you so much for just the QAnon site so we can learn truth. Thank you for the many QAnons, the anonymous that are just searching that. Thank you for people like Jerome Corsi who are decoding this in a great way. Great YouTube site to go look at. And also, he's on Twitter and GitHub. Lord, just thank you for these men and women who are giving their time and effort to help us break away from the elite. The great melting pot, Lord, is my heart. I just love to see us come together as a great melting pot, and it's so powerful to just break through the elite control, Lord. I pray that the elites will be held accountable all the way from the deep state to the criminal elements in all parts of our society, not only in the United States, but throughout this world, Lord, that the great melting pot worldwide is going to break through this mess, Lord, and we are going to become a great nation, and your word's going to be spread through this whole world, Lord. But more importantly, all these people that are now controlled by the elites will no longer. They'll have their own future. They'll be free. They're away from the matrix. They've been red-pilled, Lord. Thank you for that. And we say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. God bless you. We'll talk to you later.